It all began when I was getting my nest ready for my first child. I had no inkling that the foray into the world of motherhood would help me find my true calling, to help and to connect to people. Good afternoon, everyone. November 9th, 2013 was the happiest day of my life. You know why? Because the most beautiful gift of my life, my daughter Khushi, was born. However, 21 days later, when my gynecologist set up a meeting with me and my family, and she broke the news of saying that your daughter has Down syndrome, it didn't ring a bell. I had no clue as to what she was talking about. Yes, this Down syndrome terminology I had never heard in my life. So I kept staring at her. And then she said something which really hit me hard. And then she said something again which hit me harder. She said that your child will only go to a special school. Your child will need assistance all the life, your entire life. That was really heartbreaking. I was totally devastated. Tears rolled down my eyes. And I was totally lost. Gathering myself up, like most of parents, I started researching the internet. I spoke to a lot of people. I read a lot of books on Down syndrome. And finally, I learned that Down syndrome was a genetic condition. It was not a disease. Nobody could catch it from anyone. Like all of us have 46 chromosomes, people with Down syndrome have one extra, which makes it 47. And because of this extra chromosome, there are developmental delays and there are medical issues which happen with these persons with Down syndrome. According to the All India Institute of Medical Science, approximately 23,000 to 29,000 children are born with Down syndrome every year in India, which is the maximum in our country. And surprisingly, only 44% survive. Isn't that alarming? It is. Why only 44%? You must be thinking, right? Because there is absolutely very little awareness, the social stigma, and of course the awareness, the acceptance for persons with Down syndrome was really, really minimalistic. Further on, I researched more about Down syndrome, and I was really curious to know, because I came to know only after delivery that my child was born with Down syndrome. So I wanted to go back and research and see whether we could know before even the child is born with Down syndrome, is there a way that we come to know during pregnancy? And I figured out that there is a test called NIPT, which is a non-invasive prenatal test, which confirms approximately 90% that your child may have abnormalities, including Down syndrome, which is recommended by the gynecologist, of course. Not in all cases though, wherein there are severe cases. And in order to get 100% confirmation, the gynecologist would suggest to people who have really high risk during their pregnancy, a test called amniocentesis, which confirms 100% that your person has abnormalities, including Down syndrome. That was about the research I made. And like I mentioned, I came to know when my daughter was born. And that confirmation is done by a genetic testing, which is called karyotyping, which confirmed the news that my daughter had Down syndrome. Now, my daughter Khushi, when she was 2 months old, I want to share this story, that I traveled to the Down Syndrome Federation of India, Chennai, and met Dr. Rekha Ramachandran, who is the president of Down Syndrome Federation of India, who put Khushi into an early intervention program of physiotherapy, speech therapy, special education, and she filled me with a lot of positivity and hope. Coming back to Bangalore, I was in touch with her team. I continued all the therapies, and alongside I also developed a team of experts, doctors and therapists for my daughter in Bangalore as well. And we as a family, me and my husband, try to do as much as possible for our child. And today, I'm so proud to say that today we are smiling, and I'm here because my daughter has made me proud, and she is a bright 11-year-old, exhibiting confidence. She has already been given a Women Excellence Award at the age of 10 years. She has won several awards in swimming, competitions, public speaking, and she has also co-anchored few events. That is something which brings us smiling today. And this is what I wanted to show to the doctors and to the people who showed sympathy when she was born, and of course the well-wishers who would be so happy to know about this today. Further on, going back to 2016, I got the privilege to attend the World Down Syndrome Congress, which happened in Chennai. And there, it was a revelation, because what I saw was something which I had never seen before. I saw that persons with Down syndrome were celebrated for who they are. I saw persons with Down syndrome excelling in different fields, being employed. One of the persons with Down syndrome I met was writing a novel, and another whom I met was already a primary teacher in a school from South Africa. This was the turning point. And after this, I decided that I will not leave any stone unturned for the betterment of my child. And moving ahead, I pursued special education, specifically the post-graduation course in learning disability, carried forward with many other courses in autism, in inclusive education, and over the years, of course, finally a master's in social work and counseling. This really helped me to understand my child better, and of course to be an asset to my community. So I really urge every parent with special needs to do these courses. It will really help all of you to have a better understanding about your child and help out the community as well. Moving ahead, once I had, like I mentioned about the World Down Syndrome Congress, after meeting people there, after having that exhilarating experience, I came back and I immediately had this idea of giving back to the society, and that's how I was just in connect with 5 parents. And that point of time, we started a support group with only 5 parents, which is called Bangalore Humsafar, and now which is called Karnataka Humsafar. And that today, my friends, it has grown to 350 parents, and it is just amazing in that group how parents unconditionally support each other, be there for each other, and give a feeling that you are not alone. Further on, moving ahead, we realized through these groups that now there was a time that parents wanted to meet each other, bond with each other, be there for each other in person. So then we happened to organize the first ever meet, an all-India meet, which was a gathering of 92 families from all across the country, which was exemplary because, everyone just had the best time of their life. Nobody was judging anybody. That is what we require from the society, that just accept the children as they are, for who they are. Do not judge them. And that's what exactly was happening during this meet. Every person there was enjoying and connecting with each other and learning, sharing, bonding. And this laid a foundation for several other meets after that. And this happened in the year 2017. And after that, there was no looking back. There were several other meets, and now these parents bond so well that they stay with each other, they help each other, they are there, they're like, many of them are like best friends. So this is how the community support helped. Moving ahead, what I realized was, as I had a thirst of studying more about Down syndrome, and I really wanted, my daughter was growing, so I really wanted to equip myself more and learn more about Down syndrome. So I Googled out and spoke to a lot of people, and to my surprise, there was no single course exclusively for the Indian population on Down syndrome. There were courses for the population of other countries, but not for the Indians. It was really surprising for me, and that made me think that there'll be so many other parents like me, who would also want to study more about their children and do so much more learning about that specific condition. So I happened to research after that a lot, and then I went to the Down Syndrome Federation of India, and together we launched the first ever course on Down syndrome for the Indian population, along with an RCI approved center, the Rehabilitation Council of India Center. And after that, we have empowered around 200 parents and educators who feel so empowered after doing these courses and feel so confident, and some of them have also gone all out, and they have started their own setup and have started helping more parents, families with Down syndrome, which was the purpose of having this course, right? To understand, learn, help your own child, and reach out to other parents, and the service and the purpose was done. After that, the COVID hit, and we did all these courses online. It was an absolute blessing in disguise, because we could now connect to the entire world. The entire world could get support from persons, from our courses. You would ask whether these online courses are helpful. Of course they are, because it had accessibility from your comfort zone, from your, from the place you are. You did not have to come anywhere. You got all the right information, hands-on experience, all the information, just right bang on. This was all about courses, and along as we understood about the courses, there were so many other courses which we developed, which was really helpful for persons with Down syndrome. And as I had studied autism and other developmental delays as well, so we tried to include different disability courses as well. And that's how, and we realized there was communication issues, there were different challenges which children were facing academically, and there were not proper methods were not being shared in different schools. So we tried to incorporate all these things in our courses, and we launched several courses on different subjects to help out these children. In the year 2022, we realized that our children with Down syndrome they loved stage, and they were extremely talented people. But unfortunately, very few opportunities were given to them to be on stage. And we noticed that there were no pageants. There were no pageants for these children at all. And we questioned why not. And that's how we had the first ever pageant for persons with Down syndrome, which was revolutionary, because after that, there were so many other pageants happening across, and these children started getting many, many opportunities. And also these children have been a brand now to so many other organizations, and reputed organizations like NIFT and NID have also included them during their ramp walks and during their fashion events. So that level, it helped this kind of activity. So you must be wondering about doing all these activities, all these events and all these workshops. How is it really helping them to develop their future? What is their future? Though we are doing so much, you must be wondering, right? And what is the ground reality? What's the truth? Well, it depends. There are so many factors around it. You know, the societal attitude, the employment opportunities, the educational opportunities, the family support, and the most importantly, the medical facility. If all of this is balanced, the children can thrive. But unfortunately, we still have a long way to do. Though we have done a lot, there is a lot happening, but still, there is a lot which needs to be done. There has been positives also, like inclusive education, models have been tried out. You know, a lot of work has been done in that, personality development. There is a lot of isolation amongst persons, people with, in the nuclear families. What happens? The biggest fear in nuclear families is what we feel is the biggest fear of parents is what after them. Yes, there are residential facilities available, but very, very handful, very, very limited. There is a lot more needs to be done. There should be a residential facility in every particular city, because moving the child to another city is not a great idea. The child needs to be in the same city, would thrive. So, you know, those aspects are left. And the hardcore reality is many children with Down syndrome are prone to, have, you know, are prone to medical concerns like early onset of Alzheimer's. They have hypothyroidism. Many of them struggle with a lot of other developmental delays. So right medical support is extremely, extremely important. The right opportunities, proper employment, family support, medical care, you know, the society support and the unwavering support of the parents will undoubtedly, you know, let the child with Down syndrome thrive to the topmost level. Inclusion is not a privilege. It is a right. Let's together love, let's together bridge love and empowerment to span the globe. Thank you so much.